Hello, hello. I would like to talk to you today about spiritual connection. Yes, I'm driving, but sometimes this is when I am actually the most clear minded and quietest. So let's talk about spiritual connection. Connection to source. Connection to source can be connection to the universe, God, your guides, angels, spirits in the past, basically anything that you're going to connect to outside of this realm. But for this video's purposes, referring to source can mean any of those things. So everyone that I know in the groups that I travel in connect to source. But sometimes, depending on where we are in our spiritual journey, we might have difficulty connecting to source. We might not have ever connected to source yet. Or we might have some fears about connecting to source. Or we've been connected to source in the past and now we got disconnected. And that can happen for different reasons that I don't understand. But it's a very lost feeling when you have that, when you just feel like, wow, I'm not connected. And somehow you just know. And so maybe I can give you some tips or ideas on how to connect or reconnect. So first, let's talk about connecting to source. We're talking about going into ourselves, going deeper into ourselves to find a deeper path to love and the universe. And we're doing it through our own bodies. We're not, finding machines or things to hook us up to this universe. The universe is there, and we are already integrated into it, just like animals and trees, weather, oceans. We just sometimes don't flip the switch on. So we're going to do that. Now, why would we want to do that? Because it's such a great feeling to know that you're not alone. Even when you are alone at times, if you have a problem, an issue, a worry, or a hope and a dream, to think that you can reach beyond this realm for help, for guidance, for ideas, for solutions. I mean, why wouldn't you want that? So I feel like it's a very positive thing. And some of the fears that some people have are, number one, it's fake. Number two, I can't do it. Number three, if I tell someone, they're going to laugh at me. Number four, what if I don't like what I hear? What if I don't like what they say? So, I mean, these fears are legit, but we got to get beyond them because it's really a positive and wonderful thing to bring into your life. And for me, I feel like it's never ending. Our spiritual journeys are never ending. We're never going to get someplace and be like, okay, I'm good. I've reached the top of the mountain and I can't be any more enlightened. I don't think any of us are going to do that. It's always going to be a journey. So we might as well start it now. So we're all at different spiritual levels. And some of you maybe just started your journey. Some of you have been on for maybe your whole lifetime. But to me, I find that the higher my vibration, the easier it is to connect. How do we raise our vibration? We all do it in different ways. So I love yoga, meditating, nature walks, eating very healthy, grounding, fresh food and vegetables that really connects you to your earth source, drinking lots of water, drumming, chanting, art, music, anything that brings your soul to peace. That's what you're looking for. That's where your vibration starts to raise up. So you want that vibration to be nice and high, as high as you can. So let's say you meditate and then you try to connect to source. Or you're walking in nature, sitting by the water. You're lying on the beach. These are really good places to connect to source because you're so high already. Chanting for me works a lot. Having like kirtan music on. I just get very elevated by that music and those sounds. So just look at the thing that really makes you feel open and brings you to awareness of the present moment, even breath. And then you're going to try your connection. Now, in talking to people about this, I've found a lot of people connect in different ways. Some people just pray. and then they get connected to their source. One person told me that they focus on their own breath and heartbeat, and then they connect their heartbeat to like a whole world, the universe, to each tiny bug, like a ladybug, and then up to the highest mountain. And then when they feel connected, they go to source. For me, I've been doing it for such a long time. For me, it's like knocking on the door or picking up the phone and being like, hello, is anyone there? I have questions. And sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get back to me and I leave a message. But the more you practice, the easier it will become. When I first started connecting to source, I would use angel cards a lot because I felt like I can't hear them. And if I use angel cards, at least there's a way for them to connect to me. You know, they can help answer my questions through the cards. And that got easier and easier. And then eventually I didn't need the cards to hear them. I can't really tell you the first time that I heard it. It might have been when I got my first guide. So that might have been when that happened. But you'll know when you're listening, and many of you already have guides, and many of you are already communicating. So you know how you connect. But these are just some other ideas, like using the cards, and also what I think is really beautiful about the entire connection situation is it seems like everyone is different. You know, like there isn't one way to go about this. There's no right way and no wrong way. Source is going to be there for you, and you're going to find your way there. And so just be at peace with that. Just know there's no success and no failure. You will get there. And if you don't reach the source, source is going to reach down to you. I mean, if they're up here with the messages and your vibration's down here, but your vibration's actually, you know, some days you're high, some days you're low, you're like that, then eventually you're going to catch something when you're up there. And then eventually you'll be elevating yourself higher and higher till you kind of bridge the gap. And then you're just much easier to connect. But by putting the feelers out, you know, opening yourself and opening your entire body to feeling what's out there, you're raising your antenna, so to speak. Imagine in the 1950s when they had the antennas on the TV and they got their nice 10 or 11 channels. That was fabulous. But then they put the antenna on top of the roof, and next thing you know, they're getting like 15 channels or something. Then cable comes along, you've got 60 plus channels, then Fios, now they're streaming, and 5G, and people have like 800 channels on their television. Well, that is you and your connection. You know, right now maybe you got the old broadband or something and you're working your way up to the 5G. So patience and practice, and I really feel like you will get there. So let's say we've got a high vibration going on, or we feel like we have our feelers out and we're going to try to connect. Let's try to find the space and the place that is right for you. For me, at this point, I can pretty much talk to my guides any place, anytime, when they're available. But when you're first beginning, you want to have all of your senses aware and open. So you need a quiet place, maybe. You need that place in nature. Maybe even in church for some people. Maybe in the car, like me right now, when it's quiet and you're alone. But find your space. Maybe you want ritual. Maybe you want candles and incense and lights and music. Who knows? But just find your space and set up that place for yourself. So now you're going to get yourself into your high vibration, into your high space, and you're going to relax. I want you to imagine you're sitting in a dark room with a blindfold on, and it's a huge room. And someone walks into the room. There's a very good chance, because all of these senses are so aware with your blindfold, you're going to hear that person come in the room, or you're going to sense it in some way. This is what you're looking for. You're not going to see possibly the guide, but you are probably very, very open to hear a message or hear a song or see some kind of flash of a picture, hear a voice, maybe just recall a memory. You're looking for the slightest thing that is not coming from you. Now, how do you know it's not coming from you? This was a big one for me. So for me, I know when the guide is speaking because it's not my voice. The voice that gives me ideas and the voice that I hear in my head when I'm talking to myself is not the same as when I hear it from the guides. The guides have a different speech pattern. Excuse me, they have different vocabulary. They have a different mannerism. It just doesn't sound like me. And many times I do see the guide when I hear them speak. But sometimes if I'm just getting a message, it could just be something very quick and fast and short. And then it's almost like, that's it for now. More to come later. So when people get downloads, they're getting a lot of information at once. And maybe they need to write that down and journal because they're getting so much information. But if you're getting like one flash of a picture, that could be something. If you're having a memory brought back to you, that could be something. If you just have a very blissful feeling, a warm feeling in your heart, and your mind is clear, and you just feel this happy presence, that could be it. So just look for anything that doesn't seem like it's from you. And once you're here, you can test the waters. You can ask a question. Be like, I kind of need guidance with this, or can you possibly help me with this? And then sit in your quiet and see if you get an answer. Now, you might not get an answer right away. You might get an answer a week later, just listening to the radio. You might get an answer in the mail. You might get an answer from someone else who is speaking. And so the guides are actually speaking to you through other people. When the guides or the universe wants to get in touch with you, they will. It won't matter what you're doing, where you are, they will reach down to you. And before you know it, you'll have kind of a back and forth relationship. So I want to give you some examples. Probably the most powerful experience that I had with my guides was after Tony's dog died. And the dog had only been passed for a few minutes. And he went out to take care of some finances. And I stayed in the room with the dog and I was petting him. And I was sobbing. I was so, so sad. And there was a door in the corner of the room and me and the dog were on the opposite side. And I saw my guide. One of my guides is my old dog, Bala. She had been through a really hard life and was able to heal. And so she became one of my guides very quickly. I saw her kind of like nudge open the door and slip her body in. And I was like so happy to see her, And I thought that's very symbolic that my past dog comes for Tony's past dog. But then, one by one, my other guides started coming in the room. And then my grandma and my mom and my mom's mom. And, here I am in this tiny little vet office room. And it's so crowded with my guides. And in this moment, they look glass. They look like glass. Like I can see each and every one of them, but you can see through them. And it was so moving. And I said to them, thank you so much for coming for Buddy. Because I thought they had come there to help Buddy find his way home. And one of the guides says to me, we didn't come here for Buddy. We came for you. And I was so taken by that. The fact that they pointed out that I was wrong. The fact that they didn't come to take him home. They came to support me because they saw the despair and the heartbreak I was in. I felt so much love and so much comfort. And it was really an amazing experience. So if guides can do that, we have to be open to it. We have to believe in it. We have to follow it. We have to really put our whole heart and soul into believing this is for my good and the good of others. I want you to imagine that you wake up one morning and you get the urge to bake cookies. And you got all the ingredients and you're like, yeah, I'm going to bake some cookies today. So then you bake a whole bunch of cookies, and then at the end you're like, wow, this is a lot of cookies. I think I'm going to give some to my neighbors, or maybe bring some to work. And you kind of disperse them out to different places. And this one little batch of cookies kind of brings a lot of joy to a lot of different people. In that good deed, I want you to ask yourself, where did that idea come from? Was it my idea to bake the cookies? Was it my idea to give them out? Because maybe one of your neighbors was really feeling down that day, and those cookies really just what she needed. You know, someone thinking of her. Or did maybe one of your guides say, hey, I kind of need you to do this today because it would be very important and meaningful to a lot of people. And the guides planted that seed while you were sleeping, and then you woke up and made the cookies. Or maybe you had the idea to make the cookies on your own, but the guides were like, maybe you should share these. I want you to try to pay attention to where these thoughts come from. Where do they originate? Where could it have come from? I really believe in my heart when someone writes a book that's amazing, or creates an amazing song, or a beautiful piece of art, that yes, they have the talent to do that, but they also have a connection to source, because some of these things just seem beyond this realm, and these people create these beautiful songs and art, and of course they have the talent to do that, but I feel they also have the connection. They have the higher being giving them ideas, sharing with them things that they would really like to see happen on the planet. You know, whether it's, bring water to this group, or bring a school over here and build this. And these people go out and they do these amazing things. I really believe it has a lot to do with source connecting to them, and source working through them. And why can't we all be on that level? I really feel like we can be. We just have to put out our feelers. So I encourage all of you to work on your connection if you're feeling unconnected or disconnected, or you haven't had a connection experience yet. Keep a journal of the questions that you ask and see how, when, and if they get answered. I find that manifesting works really quickly when you have the help of the universe. So, when you're running into a problem, putting up to the universe. I can't even tell you how many things I wanted I couldn't afford, and I asked the universe for help, and the next thing you know, it's in my lap. And I mean, I say to people, they're like, how'd you get that? It's like, the universe gave it to me. And I could tell you probably 3 or 4 things right off the top of my head, like a Reiki table, this corner ottoman piece, furniture that I really needed, my new job, things like that. Because when the universe wants to give you things, it's going to find a way to connect with you. And this is how we'll finish up today. So if you've got that space in between you where your vibration isn't quite reaching them, they are going to reach down to you. And when we're going through some of these things, say you lose a job, or you have a car accident, or you're having trouble in a relationship, Source sometimes will make these things appear to you so that you can see where you need to make a change. If Source thinks that I should change my job because it's not healthy for me, and I would be happier somewhere else, maybe make more money, but I don't want to because it's too scary to do that, Source is going to make it impossible for me to go to work. It's going to make me hate it. It's going to physically pull me away. It's going to push me over there. And when you're connected, you can feel these things happening, and you're like, oh my gosh, the universe is pushing me over here, or the universe is pulling me away. It's doing it for a reason. It's trying to get your attention, and in the beginning it might not look like a good thing, but once it starts to take form and shape, you might see that it's a very good thing. So let's say you have a rundown car, it's not the best, it's not the safest, and you really should have a new vehicle, but you think you can't afford it, you're just too lazy to go, whatever your excuse. The universe is going to take that old beat up car away from you, whether it breaks down, whether someone steals it, if you have an accident and it can't be repaired, it's going to force you into getting that new car. So sometimes the universe knows what's best for us, and it puts us on the path to get there. And I tell people, universe will be like, hey, 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 and they'll try to get your attention, and the next thing you know, it's like, bam, they got your attention. Well, it's been really fun talking to you today. I'm sorry about this environment. It would have been nice to, sit in my room with my lights and my plants, but a lot of times this is the quietest place for me, and I'm very comfortable in this spot. So I hope you can have your open heart, your open mind, and connect. Have pure intentions, keep a journal, and I'm very, very excited for you, and I hope that some of these tips really work for you. And if you have questions, of course, you can always reach out. And good luck to all of you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.